Welcome back. I'm going to show you how to make a farmhouse western boho style sign. I'm using Oracle 813 stencil vinyl, and then I'm also just using transfer tape. Both of them are linked in my Amazon storefront. I'm going to put my transfer tape sticky side up and lay my Oracle stencil over that and then transfer it onto my sign using my Cricut scraper. Once I get it all level, I'm going to scrape it down and then peel my transfer tape up just like so. And if you have your sign stained correctly and sealed correctly, which I can share all of that at a different time, you shouldn't have any issues with your stencil sticking to your sign. Here I'm using my Waverly chalk paint I purchased at Walmart. I'm going to tape off the ends so that I make sure I don't get any paint everywhere. And then I also use these mini paint rollers, also linked in my Amazon storefront. I'm just going to quickly paint my sign. This is the best way that works for me. Just put a light coat on so that you make sure you're not getting any bleeds. And then I'm going to dry my sign. I'm old-fashioned and I use a hair dryer, so works really well for me. Just make sure you have your heat turned up. I don't typically do this. Sometimes I let them air dry, but for the sake of the video, I did this to kind of speed things up. And then I'm going to peel away all of my stencil. And I'm using a weeding tool here that I purchased off of Amazon. I really love it for when I'm removing my stencil. I can just stick it in there as my little trash can. And I'm just kind of making sure I don't have very many bleeds. And I go ahead and sand the edges to kind of give it a good dimension. I have this also linked in my Amazon storefront. I really like it. Like I said, I like to use it to give it dimension. I'm going to be using ribbons. Some of them are purchased off of Amazon and the rest are purchased from Hobby Lobby. I cut them at 16 inches and I do 2 of each one. They are 2.5 inches wide. And if you want a more in-depth video on how to make the bow, you can visit my page. But what I do is just cut them all at 16 inches. I'm going to use a 8-inch zip tie to secure them. I'm getting my greenery ready here. I guess you could call that greenery. And like I said, I'm going for more of a Western boho style sign, so this is what I decided to go with. And I'm actually going to end up removing it from the vine, but I'll show that in just a second. So I'm going to get my bow ready. I'm going to fold at almost about half and then bunch them together. And then once I get them all looking how I want them to look, I'm going to secure them with my 8-inch zip tie, also linked to my Amazon storefront. And then I'm going to fray the bottoms and then dovetail the ends of each bow or ribbon. And I just kind of fray them to where like two are not matching each other so that they're kind of just in a good pattern. And then I'm going to burn the edges of this ribbon just because it likes to fray out. So I know I have my bow ready, so I'm going to go ahead and attach that to my sign using my Stanley staple gun. I really like it. It works great for me. And I just make sure I attach the tails first And then I'm going to attach my greenery before I finish attaching my bow here so that I can get my greenery placed where I want it. And I'm just making sure I can hide the ends of my greenery up in my bow. So now I'm going to go back through and finish attaching my bow. And I'm just going to go through and I'm going to staple on each tail. And then I'm going to fluff it how I want it. And typically, sometimes I will add a staple to a couple of the loops. I usually do like one loop on the bottom and then one loop on the top. And I'm going to cut off any excess ribbon, and you have a beautiful Western boho style sign. I do have this linked on my website available for purchase, or you can purchase the supplies and make one of your own. Good luck. Thanks for watching.